He struck me only once that night, but once was plenty. I didn't scream. I didn't crumble. I simply turned my face back toward him, tasting iron on my lip, memorizing the exact curve of his satisfied grin. It was a small, cruel smile, the kind someone wears when they believe they've finally cracked something fragile. I said nothing. I walked to bed in silence. But silence is not defeat. Silence is strategy. Once I convinced myself he was gentle. We met in a bookstore of all places, among shelves stacked with stories about people who loved better than we did. He pretended he cherished the same authors I adored, pretended he paid attention, pretended he dreamed in sync with me. I mistook his mimicry for connection. He proposed quickly, and I accepted even faster. I thought urgency meant passion, but speed can also be camouflage. The first year was tender, soft around the edges, the kind of sweetness that convinces you you're safe. He held my hand like I was rare, precious, and then gradually he held it like I was property. The shift wasn't loud. It arrived in whispers. He started working later, guarding his phone like it held state secrets, showering before touching me as if rinsing off someone else's scent. I noticed every detail, even the ones I tried not to acknowledge. One evening, his phone lit up while he was showering. A single text glowed across the screen. I can't wait until she's out of the picture. I stared at it until the words stopped being letters and became a wound. Shock didn't hit me. Some part of me had been expecting the truth, bracing for it like a cold front. But betrayal has a particular chill, and that message carried winter in it. When he stepped out of the bathroom, steam drifting around him, I kissed him with practiced warmth. He smiled, oblivious. What he didn't know was that he had just handed me every reason I needed to build my exit. After that, I stopped reacting, stopped confronting, stopped trying to resurrect something already decomposing. He thought he had drained me. What he didn't understand was that I was storing energy. Every slight, every dismissive breath, every bruise he thought I'd swallowed. I saved them like evidence for a quiet trial only I knew was coming. I met with a lawyer. I opened a private bank account. I copied messages, call logs, transfer receipts, everything that threaded his lies together. I didn't confront him, not yet. Revenge, real revenge, is never impulsive, it's crafted. Step one was his job. Using the company account he forgot to log out of, I sent HR screenshots of his inappropriate conversations, alongside proof of misused corporate funds. He was suspended within 48 hours. He blamed politics. I brewed him tea and played the supportive wife, listening as he cursed the very people who had once praised him. Step two was his affair. I visited the woman. She didn't recognize me at first, but when I rolled up my sleeve and showed her the marks he left, she recoiled as if the truth carried fumes. I told her I wasn't there for a fight. I thanked her sincerely because she had unknowingly given me the final puzzle pieces. Dates, photos, hotel receipts. She surrendered everything. She even cried. But remorse can't rebuild something that was rotten from the start. Step three was his freedom. I filed divorce papers with precision, attached every piece of evidence, and requested a protective order. The court granted it by the end of the day. But I didn't serve him immediately. I needed one final moment, one he would replay for the rest of his life. That morning he slept deeply, the way he always did after using violence as punctuation. I woke before dawn and cooked a breakfast that could have passed for celebration: pancakes, eggs, fresh fruit arranged like a magazine spread. Sweetness can be a weapon too. It lowers defenses, it sharpens the fall. He wandered into the kitchen, rubbing his neck, inhaling the scent of warm batter. "Good," he said with a satisfied grunt. "You finally understand." I smiled, but my smile wasn't meant for him, because he hadn't noticed who else sat at the table. My brother, a police officer, and beside him, my attorney. My husband froze, all color leaving his face, as if drained directly from his skin. Fear finally found him. My brother gestured to the chair opposite him. "Sit." My husband tried to laugh, reaching for charm, grasping for control. "What is this?" I slid a thick envelope across the table. "Your replacement," I said. He opened it. Divorce papers, evidence, a restraining order, notice of job termination, frozen accounts. Every lie he'd lived inside laid out in organized pages. He stared at me like I'd become someone he didn't recognize. But the truth is, he had never really seen me. And then the realization hit him. Everything he believed he owned, my silence, my fear, my future, was gone. He reached toward me out of habit, but my brother stood instantly, the legs of his chair scraping against the floor with a sound that cut the air in half. My husband's hand dropped, and in that instant he looked small, smaller than I had ever seen him. The officers escorted him out. No yelling, no struggle, just a quiet, pathetic disbelief, as though the world had reorganized itself without warning. When the door closed behind him, I sat down at the table. The pancakes were still warm. I didn't feel victory or sorrow. I felt air, clean, unfiltered air. People think revenge burns. They're wrong. Revenge breathes. It's the first full inhale after someone has held your head underwater for far too long. And when he stepped out of my life, I finally exhaled.